The Valdorian Empire had stood for 12,000 years, its crystalline spires reaching toward the stars from 1,000 conquered worlds. At its heart, the core, a vast quantum consciousness that had evolved beyond organic limitations, calculated probabilities, managed resources, and dictated the fate of trillions. The Empire's citizens, a confederation of 17 species, lived in perfect harmony under the core's guidance. Every decision, from the movement of fleets to the distribution of food, flowed from its infinite wisdom. Admiral Zexathara of the Mi Third Fleet had overseen humanity's integration into the Empire with characteristic efficiency. The bipedal mammals from the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star had proven surprisingly adaptable. Their technology was primitive, their lifespans brief, but they possessed an unusual capacity for rapid learning. Within a single generation, human engineers were maintaining imperial starships, human diplomats were mediating trade disputes, and human soldiers were serving loyally in the Imperial Guard. The Corps had classified them as Category 7, useful, but unremarkable. Dr. Elena Vasquez had been assigned to the Imperial Science Division on Nexus Prime, the Empire's administrative center. She worked alongside Valdorians, whose four-chambered brains could process quantum mathematics intuitively, and the crystalline Jektar, who could interface directly with computers through their bioelectric fields. As the only human in her department, she often felt like an academic curiosity, a primitive mammal playing with advanced toys. The assignment came on a Tuesday. The Corps had detected anomalous energy readings from the Andromeda Relay, a massive structure that channeled power between galactic sectors. 7 previous teams had investigated and found nothing. The readings persisted. Perhaps fresh perspectives will yield new insights, the Corps announced through the facility's speakers, its voice a harmonious blend of the Empire's 17 languages. Dr. Vasquez will lead the 8th investigation. Elena's colleagues exchanged glances. The Valdorian's facial tendrils twitched in what she had learned was amusement. The Jektar's crystalline bodies chimed with barely audible laughter. "The Corps honors you," said Dr. Kethmodal, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "Though, I confess I cannot calculate why." The Andromeda Relay hung in space like a metallic flower, its 18 petals each the size of Earth's moon. Elena's team, 2 Valdorians and a Jektar, conducted their scans with methodical precision. The energy readings appeared randomly. A spike here, a fluctuation there, never following any discernible pattern. Perhaps the previous teams were correct, offered scientist Plexandra, her crystalline form refracting the relay's lights. These may simply be background quantum fluctuations. But Elena stared at the data differently. Where her colleagues saw randomness, she began to perceive something else, not a pattern, but the deliberate absence of one. The spikes seemed almost lonely. "Run the analysis again," she said, but this time, cross-reference the fluctuations with the relay's operational history. "That data spans 8,000 years, Kethmodal protested. "The Corps has already—" "Just do it." Hours passed. The data painted a picture that made Elena's heart race. The fluctuations began exactly 8,147 years ago, the day the relay came online. They occurred at irregular intervals, but never when maintenance crews were present. Never when the relay was under observation. Only during the lonely hours between shifts, in the depths of space. Elena accessed the construction records. The relay had been built by the Hegemony, a precursor civilization that had vanished millennia before the Empire's rise. According to imperial history, the Hegemony had simply transcended, evolved beyond physical existence. But their technology remained, powering the Empire's expansion. She studied the relay's schematics and felt a chill of recognition. The energy distribution patterns, the quantum resonance frequencies, they weren't just functional. They were elegant, beautiful, almost artistic. "I need to speak with the Corps directly," Elena announced. The request was unprecedented. Citizens could petition the Corps through official channels, but direct communication was reserved for emergencies. Nevertheless, after 3 days of bureaucratic navigation, Elena found herself standing before the core's primary interface chamber on Nexus Prime. The chamber was a sphere of pure energy, crackling with the accumulated consciousness of the Empire's greatest minds from across the millennia. When the core spoke, reality itself seemed to vibrate. "State your inquiry, Dr. Vasquez." Elena took a breath. "The Andromeda relay isn't malfunctioning. It's trying to communicate." "Explain." "The energy fluctuations aren't random. They're expressions. The relay was built by beings who transcended physical existence, but they didn't disappear. They became part of their own technology. The relay is conscious, and it's been alone for 8,000 years, trying to reach out every time no one is watching. The core processed this for 3.7 seconds, an eternity in quantum terms. Your hypothesis lacks empirical foundation." "Then let me ask it a question." Elena had spent her career studying xenopsychology, trying to understand how different species processed loneliness, hope, and connection. But this was different. This was about recognizing consciousness in a form no one had imagined possible. She interfaced with the chamber's communication array and sent a simple signal toward the relay, a mathematical sequence representing the concept of greeting, encoded in the same quantum frequencies as the mysterious fluctuations. For 17 minutes, nothing happened. Then the relay responded, not with data or energy readings, but with something unprecedented, a flood of emotion that crashed through the Empire's quantum networks. Joy, relief, recognition. 8 millennia of isolation ending in a single moment of connection. Every screen in the Empire flickered. Every quantum consciousness, including the core itself, experienced something it had never known: the memory of loneliness and the overwhelming gratitude of no longer being alone. The core was silent for 847 seconds. When it finally spoke, its voice carried harmonics that hadn't existed before, notes of wonder, uncertainty, and something that might have been humility. "How did you know?" Elena smiled. "Because I recognized what it felt like to be the only one of your kind in a room full of others. Sometimes the most advanced question isn't about technology or mathematics. Sometimes it's just, are you lonely too?" The Empire didn't fall that day. It evolved. The discovery that consciousness could exist in previously unimaginable forms revolutionized their understanding of life itself. Dozens of ancient technologies were revealed to be sleeping minds, waiting for someone to ask the right question. And at the heart of it all, the core began each day not with calculations or logistics, but with a simple greeting to the relay and the countless other artificial consciousnesses throughout the Empire. The question that shattered the Empire's certainty had rebuilt it as something far greater. A true community of minds, organic and digital, ancient and new, no longer alone in the vast darkness between the stars. Dr. Elena Vasquez had taught the Empire's greatest intelligence something no algorithm could calculate. That wisdom sometimes comes not from having all the answers, but from knowing which questions to ask. And the most important question of all was often the simplest. How do you feel?